Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we do encourage and inspire everyone to like and share them on social media and with all your friends and neighbors, because if it's happening on the Treasure Coast, it's happening on the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. In fact, with guests ready to go, here's this week's edition. Here's Sue Ellen Sanders.
Welcome, and we're glad you're here. Yes, we'd like to be kind of inspiring where people do want to share the show, because we always like to learn about new things in the community, but we also like to hear about old things in the community, meaning established things like the Fort Pierce Women's Club. I know it was about 6 months or maybe 8 months ago, we had Jennifer Picardi on. She is the current president of the Fort Pierce Women's Club. And today we have Crystal Barker King, and she is a past board member, also very active with the Fort Pierce Women's Club. And she's going to talk to us about some of the different events that are coming up, and also about her participation in the Women's Club and some other community activities that you might want to get involved with too. Welcome to the show, Crystal. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Now, before we started, we were talking about being close to the mic and everything, and you said, "Oh, I have no problem because I used to be in chorus." You seem like a performer type personality. Is that true?
Well, my dad was a singer before he passed away. My grandmother had her own cable TV show up in New Jersey, so it probably is a little genetic. But I've always just been really outgoing, outspoken. Everything that put me in front of a crowd, cheerleading, chorus. I played in the band, believe it or not, the tuba.
I played the tuba.
Yep,
when
I played the
three-quarter big size. White.
The sousaphone, which is the marching band tuba.
Yeah, that's what I did
in middle school.
Yeah. That was. I'm sure there were years between us, but Crystal, you're a joiner because you've been a member of the Fort Pierce Women's Club and a past board member, and you told me that you also just took a step back from the board because you're a new grandma.
I am. I'm a grandma. My daughter, she's 21. She had my first grandchild, a boy. His name's Carter.
Wow, that's so exciting.
Yeah. So I'm going to help her 3 days a week with babysitting, because daycare can get costly. Mm-hmm. So I said I'm going to step back a little bit from some of my volunteering, not all of it, because I do thrive on that. It's what makes my heart beat, really, at the end of the day. I love to give back to the community, which is why I love the Fort Pierce Women's Club, because they're just so involved in every nonprofit and every organization on the Treasure Coast. I mean, we literally service people from all the way down in Hope Sound as far north as into Melbourne and Sebastian.
How long have you been a member?
I joined actually during the pandemic, so I technically joined over Zoom, but it's been a couple years now, and I really enjoy it.
And one of the things that I like in Fort Pierce Women's Club too is to an organization that, as Crystal said, gives a little bit to a lot of different organizations. So if you're somebody who feels like you're being pulled in 10 different directions because you want to give to women and children, and you want to give to the homeless, and you want to give to people who are in need of food, and you also want to volunteer and network with other women, this is really a terrific organization for you to be a part of.
Absolutely, 100%. We have multiple committees set up. We have an environmental committee. We have the arts committee, which is what's doing the event that we'll talk about shortly. And so there's something for everyone. We have civic engagement. So yeah, if you like to do water cleanups, but you also like the arts, or you like to feed the homeless, we have a committee for all of those types of things. And we partner with a lot of nonprofits and schools on the Treasure Coast, churches, all kinds of organizations.
How many members are there currently?
I believe our current number is, I think, in the 80s. When we went through a lull just because of COVID and everything,
Right.
and then we spiked really high. And then, it kind of, I think at this point, it's just kind of filtered out. Everyone, I think, has a good heart when they come in, but volunteering is hard work. Sometimes you have to go into homeless camps. You're pounding the pavement in the woods. Pre-hurricane, we're passing out bottles of water and shelter information. And, so some people get into it and then they realize, this isn't really for me. So sometimes memberships will drop off for those kinds of reasons, or it's just they just can't commit. We don't have a huge commitment to to being a member, but you do have to be active.
And people also have different stages of their life. Like, for example,
Absolutely.
where you were full on with the women's club, and then your daughter had a baby and
Right.
needed your assistance.
Exactly.
So, as you go through the stages and ages of your life, there's an ebb and flow to your ability and the number of hours you have to volunteer. What I like about the Fort Pierce Women's Club, though, is that there's a lot of different opportunities. So if you're not at a meeting one week, you might be there the following month, and you might be interested in the project that's coming up, whereas the one previous, that wasn't something that really rang your bell.
Exactly.
So the arts committee is a committee that is in charge of the event that's coming up next week. And next week on the show, we have Doretha Hare Truesdale and Al Black with the Florida Highwaymen Museum. But they're actually going to be talking more about the museum itself and some of their memories and the establishment of the museum. You, as a Fort Pierce Women's Club, are putting an event on in conjunction with them, and it's actually going to take place before their show comes to air.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and talk about the event itself, and you'll get lots more detail next week when we talk to Doretha and to Al about the history of the Florida Highwaymen. But just for the purpose of today's show, Crystal, if you had to describe what the Highwaymen meant to St. Lucie County and the Treasure Coast in a couple lines, what would you say?
Well, I think anyone who grew up here and was raised in this area, their parents or grandparents have a highwayman in their house or had. Art is like anything, it kind of goes in and out, it's just a taste preference. But the highwayman paintings are such a classic look. They're very unique. So they're almost instantly recognizable. And for me, I think, art in itself is such a great thing to have in your home. But when you can say that you have something from a local artist and just their whole backstory, I know Doretha will talk about that, but how they started, like door-to-door sales, selling these pictures on canvas. And now they sell for hundreds of thousands of dollars because they're just so highly sought after.
And yet Al Black will still sell you one out of the back of his car.
I actually was very fortunate to buy Michael Love, who is a legacy artist, a descendant of Alfred Hare. I think it's his nephew. He painted something for the last Artists of the Treasure Coast event that we have coming up on Monday. And I was able to pick up the painting he painted, Earl's Place, which the significance of Earl's Place is where, unfortunately, Alfred was shot. But it's a beautiful painting. It depicts the old bar, what it looked like, and then it's got the dirt road. It's pretty neat.
So not only painted locally, but also what is on it is
significant.
As well.
Absolutely.
Tell us more about what's going to be going on next week. Now, we're listening to the show on the weekend, so that means that you're talking about it. Is it a Wednesday event? Or
No, it's actually happening on Monday. March 6th.
Oh, so it's right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Yeah.
Yep. It starts at 5 p.m. It's only $25 to come in and see local artists have donated tons of artwork to us that will be up for auction. and that money will go back to the Fort Pierce Women's Club to help with repairs. Our club was established in 1913, and our building we're currently in is from the 60s. So it's needing some updates and some modernization. It's not even that. It's literally the plumbing under the ground and the bathrooms. It's not about just making it pretty. It's making it functional. I mean, we have events there that take place, and, unfortunately, the plumbing is either backed up and we've had to call someone out. So there are some major repairs. We've had the roof repaired, the stage. There's a beautiful stage there as well that most people don't realize. But yes, it's in dire need of some much needed repairs. Our windows are leaking every time it rains. We have to silicone them or try to patch them. They really need to be fully replaced.
Yeah, no, I know the windows are older, and during the summer months it gets quite warm in there because you feel the heat because the windows aren't sealed.
So I don't know if you've been there recently, but Jen Picardi, the president, she actually donated curtains. They're blackout curtains. So now they completely close and you don't feel that heat.
I didn't really notice because I think it was...
We probably had them open.
Yeah.
We also did it so that now the building could be rented for business purposes.
Right.
And you couldn't see projectors without those blackout curtains.
Especially during the day, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The sun would be shining in and it just wasn't visible. So
yeah. Well, that's great. So it's more than just the Highwaymen artists that are going to be featured at this event on Monday.
Yes, it's local artists of all kinds. We have Lisa Ionelli makes jewelry out of natural stones and crystals. It's beautiful work. We have one of our Bronca Real Estate, their 9-year-old daughter is a beautiful painter. So there'll be some artists that are children, and you would be blown away, or you will be, especially if you come and see the artwork that these children, they're so talented. We have metal art. That's where they craft like visual images out of metal, mermaids, flags, whatever suits your fancy. I'm not exactly sure what has been donated at this point, but yeah, all kinds of art.
And it's all going to be through a silent auction.
It is a silent auction.
Yeah.
Yep. So when you pay the $25, that gets you. There's a seafood buffet type situation that's set up where you'll get food. It's like an hors d'oeuvre type setup. But it's got shrimp and, it's basically a seafood lover's delight. There will be stuff for the non-seafood lovers as well. And it is a private event, so it's only for this event. So if you come in, the bar will be fully open and staffed. But it will solely be to come and view the art. You don't have to purchase anything if you just want to come out and take a look. And there will be some highwaymen there.
And it's at Chuck's.
It's at Chuck's Seafood, exactly. They're hosting it for us, and they are spectacular hosts.
Yes.
And it's a beautiful venue. I'm sure you've been there.
Yes, absolutely. And, if shrimp is on the menu, you know that Chuck's is famous for their shrimp.
Yes, exactly.
So that's awesome. And they're very community involved, too. So what time, again, is the event on March 6th?
It starts at 5 p.m. and it goes until 9 p.m. I believe the silent auction will end at 8 o'clock.
Okay. So you can get there any time between 5 and 9, but if you want to partake in the silent auction too, and probably the food,
yes,
I would get there on the earlier
side.
I
believe the food will start being served around 6 o'clock. So between 5 and 6, we'll be checking in, get yourself a drink at the bar, maybe just scrolling through, looking at all the items that we've collected, and then bidding or getting your food, whatever, around 6.
Crystal, about how many items do you think there's collected? Like round numbers, 50, 100?
There's probably currently about 40 to 50 items. Last year we had a lot of, it's hard to keep track really, because some things are small and some things are large paintings, and there will be some really large paintings that will be up for auction as well again.
How much did you raise last year? What is your plan?
I don't know the exact final amount, but I know it was probably around $10,000.
So which will go a long way towards the improvements.
Absolutely. I believe that is being put towards the plumbing in the bathrooms being completely gutted and the plumbing repairs and stuff like that.
If you've not been to the Fort Pierce Women's Club lately, as Crystal said, a lot of times, a lot of the events are not just member events. They're events where the facility is being rented out for somebody else. And so you might go to, it's a perfect place for like a baby shower or a
Yes.
bridal shower, something where you want something smaller and intimate, but in the center of town. And of course, the Fort Pierce Women's Club is located, just blocks away from the IRSC
Yep,
main
29th
campus.
Street.
So off 29th Street, and there's a lot of, you've got I-95 right there and Virginia Avenue, so it's perfectly located for whatever type of event you want. As far as the meetings themselves, do people have to be invited to come to a meeting?
You do not have to be invited. You can come to a meeting for free. The annual membership's only $125, and we meet the first Thursday of every month. Sometimes we will omit a month depending on like the schedule, if there's summertime or holidays, if it falls in a certain time, but for the most part it's at the first Thursday of every month
In addition to
around 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Yeah, in addition to the other events that you sponsor, like you have your members sign up as a group for cleanups and the
Yep, we did the Treasure Coast Waterway cleanup, and we collected, it was like over 300 pounds of trash.
wow.
I think they found like a car tire or two just laying on the beach. Yeah, it's amazing.
Surprising how it ended up there.
Yeah, there's some of the things we find we're just like, how
Yeah.
did this get here?
Yeah. And then you also, sign up together for different things like group runs, breast cancer walks, and,
Yes.
things of that nature.
Yep.
So you always have different events that you're signing up for and that you're
And those events are
promoting.
all open to the public. We have an annual Easter egg hunt coming up too, April 1st, and we always have a huge turnout. And we are currently collecting candy for the eggs. We have plenty of eggs. We need candy.
Well, tell us more about the Easter egg hunt.
It's free. It's open to the public. It's April 1st. I'm not 100% sure of the time. I can actually look really quickly.
Probably in the
11.
morning.
Yeah,
Okay.
11 to 1.
Yeah.
Outside, we separate them by age group, and we do the Easter egg hunt. And then inside, we usually have people will donate drinks or sponsor, we have games we set up. I'm not sure if we have Easter Bunny coming this year. I'm sure we have something, either the Easter Bunny or the chicks, whatever
Yes.
we can get to come. But the kids love it. I mean, it is just, it's always packed. And it seems like every year it gets busier and busier. Last year, I'm certain there was at least 300 to 400 kids that rolled through.
And this is something that's great for your young kids and then your kids that are a little bit older too, because you're dividing them in age
We don't
groups.
age discriminate
Yeah.
at our club. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, if you
If they
want to
wanna
come
come,
at 30,
yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. You want to participate because,
Yeah.
we also look at, our motto is unity and diversity. So we will occasionally get, kids who are on the spectrum that are in their 20s or late teens and they want to participate. So why would we alienate them from
Right.
that?
Is there any charge for the Easter egg
It
hunt?
is absolutely free.
So it's free, and people don't
Free.
have to RSVP or anything.
Nope, you just show up the day of and we plan for it. Yep.
So that should be
plan
easy to
accordingly.
remember because
Yep.
that's April 1st, which is April Fool's Day.
That's right.
But this isn't
A joke.
joke. It is an Easter egg hunt and activities that take place at the Fort Pierce Women's Club on April 1st between 11
And 1.
and 1. What else do you have coming up this spring? Tell us about some more of the activities you're working on or some of the drives.
We actually have a quarter auction coming up on March 28th at 6 p.m. You can participate as a vendor for $20, and that quarter auction, the money raised goes back to a charity as well. They didn't list the charity that we have currently going, but usually that's picked out by the civic engagement person who's in charge of the chair. We also have, we participate in Friday Fest. So when you go to the beer tent, we are serving. So all of our tips that we raise go back to the women's club as well, which in turn go back to the community. We do not keep
Right,
them.
right. And then you also have drives like the drives that you're doing for PACE Center for Girls, the beauty products
Yes.
and purses and things of that nature, because they have their points boutique.
Yes, we collect a lot of makeup, eyelashes, lip gloss, nail polish for Pace Center for Girls.
Unopened, unused.
Unopened, yes. Brand new,
Yeah,
brand
yeah,
new,
yeah.
yes. For
Yeah,
sanitary reasons
yeah,
more
yeah,
than
yes,
anything,
yes,
yes.
yeah.
But yes, we collect items for them because the girls really look forward to shopping. Their shopping money is points. It's a point system for good behavior and things
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they really enjoy that. And so we collect for that. We collect for the Treasure Coast Food Bank. Boxed and canned items. We've done
Obviously
that for a long
food,
time.
yeah.
Yes, food.
Do you have certain times of year that you collect, or like is there each like?
We don't turn down donations. If you bring it to us, I promise we have an organization that needs it.
Do you have to do the collecting at the meeting itself, or is there is there somebody there during the day?
Occasionally, our rental coordinator will be there, but usually what happens is someone says they have something to donate. One of us picks it up. We've taken turns where we've gone to people's homes and picked up what they were donating, or we tell them, we'll be here at this time
Meet
for this
us,
event.
yeah.
You can bring it at that
Yes,
point.
Yeah, great. And I know my partner Sydney Liebman and I, who are partnering for our Sisters Closet, we were the speaker at the last Fort Pierce Women's Club meeting talking about our Sisters Closet, the donation boutique for women's career clothing. And this last month, the Fort Pierce Women's Club has also been doing a drive for, and that is gently used clothing. We're really looking for black pants, navy pants,
Right.
white shirts, things
Business casual.
business casual, or even jackets and so on that women can use to create their own career closet.
Yeah,
for
so
free.
generally it's for women who need these items that maybe can't afford them, or
Right.
they're just going back into the work industry and maybe the clothing that they wore in their previous
Exactly.
industry doesn't match up. So this will give them the opportunity to come and pick out some items so that they feel good about their new job. And their
Exactly,
environment.
exactly, and that would be for free too at the Career Boutique. And then you collect the food, canned and packaged food for the Treasure Coast Food Bank.
Yes.
And
Yes, non-perishable items.
not non-perishable
Yes.
items, yes, because you don't have a refrigerated truck there. You can contact any member to arrange either a pickup or a meeting place, or you can come to one of the meetings. Again, Crystal, you said that they're the first Thursday
Of every month.
Of every month, and they start. I think people start gathering around 5:30. The meeting starts around 6. And you have anywhere from 20 to 30 people per meeting, depending on what's going on.
We've had an upwards of 50 people at a meeting. It's just it's time. It's the time of year. It just depends, But this is the time of year when we really have a lot of participation because people are here, and some of our seasonal people are back now. So you'll see the meetings will be a little bit more active. Whereas when like the summertime comes, some are gone on vacation, and then when the holidays come around, we kind of teeter off a little bit too.
I'll bet you have different holiday activities as well too.
We do.
Do you participate in the Fort Pierce Parade?
We do. We actually won first place, not this past Christmas, but the one before that for nonprofit.
Oh, that's so exciting!
Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
awesome. We were very excited, and we did place this past December as well. But obviously, we didn't take first place, but we still placed, which is great for us because everything that we do at the club, it's donations. So we built these floats based off of donations. So it's nice, and it brought a lot of awareness to the club. That first year that we did it, A lot of people did not realize how much stuff that we did. We participate with the Down Main Streets Ghost Tour. We talk about the Women's Club. There's a stop about the Women's Club. And, we actually were established down there by the water. We came up with the first Red Cross. And where the old library used to sit is where they used to meet. What they called it a restroom back then,
right?
Because that's what they called it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bathroom. Like go to, it was just a room where you
place
rested.
to rest.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. So when we say that, people get a chuckle out of it. But we also do a trunk or treat, which is also epic. I mean, just like the Easter egg hunt, we get hundreds of kids that participate, and anyone can have a trunk. So if anyone ever wanted to participate, they just, you can. We have a Facebook page and we have a website. So all of our contact information is on both of those, Fort Pierce Women's Club, and then the Facebook page. You can send a message, you can email. There's even some phone numbers. You can contact us. But all of our events are listed on that Facebook page as well. So all the information you need or could want is there.
And if you like their Facebook page, then you'll get notifications.
That is absolutely
about
correct.
the different events and the stuff that you post. So, how long? You were talking about the history of Fort Pierce Women's Club. Can you tell us a little bit more about the history? You moved, well, not you personally, but the club moved from downtown Fort Pierce. So you've been around a long time. Exactly how long? Were you like one of the first clubs here?
We were the first civic engagement club in St. Lucie County.
And how old?
We were established in 1913. The building we're currently in off 29th Street by the college was, I think, 1964. It was built, and we've been occupying it ever since. And we also have a direct connection to A.E. Backus, who is connected to the Highwaymen, as you're probably aware. And I'm sure Doretha will talk about that more, too, next week. But we actually have Highwaymen painting, Beanie Backus paintings that were donated to the Women's Club years ago. That part of the reasons why we're doing this Artists of the Treasure Coast is so that we can raise money to repair the club, instead of the other option was we were going to sell one of the paintings to try to help, with some of the cost and the expense. So that's why it's imperative that we raise funds, because we don't want to part ways with, that.
Because they're only going to get more.
Well, and it was personally gifted by Backus himself.
Yeah.
So, that's irreplaceable.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Talking about the artists and the art community on the Treasure Coast, and specifically in Fort Pierce, because there's a lot of artists here that you may not be aware that they're artists, and you, as you said, a lot of kids with talent too, that display their art. And I know that there's groups that they're able to participate in, like the Fort Pierce Art Club and St. Lucie County Art Alliance. But what's coming up next week is also an opportunity if you have a kid that's very talented. Like, for example, if you have a kid that's exhibiting something in the fair that's going on this week.
Yes, we take photography as well.
So when the fair is immediately over, you can bring your work over and have it auctioned off through the silent auction at the Fort Pierce Women's Club.
So I don't believe we're taking any more for this particular event, but we will take, we will take for the future events. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's cool. It's another way for our children to be recognized. And everybody has a start somewhere, and sometimes your start is a little bit later in life. And I know a lot of teachers and people who have worked with other occupations who, as they have more time available in their life, all of a sudden their art is more important and they're doing more art. A lot of my contemporaries now, who, where they were busy with a full-time job and raising a family, didn't have time for art, are now, coming up with beautiful things. And you see a lot of the stuff that's also displayed through, like when Bacchus has events, and also you might see it in the art offerings at the farmers market. What's that area called that's just west of the farmers market? Is there a name for what they call that? The arts, the stuff that's not the farmers market exactly, but it's
still considered the farmers market. Yes.
Okay,
yeah. It took me a minute. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all the.
I was like, you have to picture it.
I was like, I'm like with West. Okay, but it's literally like it's where it's where Friday Fest is held.
Yes,
it's that
exactly.
same area.
Exactly.
And yes, there are tons of local artists and beautiful artwork. I mean, paintings, pottery, jewelry making. I bought someone crafts really nice dog collars. I bought my dog's matching collars last week, and Leisha, she hand sews these collars. They're beautiful. So there's something for everyone. Yeah. Literally everyone.
But it's also, an opportunity to display whatever that you're working on.
And we actually had, I think, 4 or 5 artists that have booths at the farmers market donate to us as well. Our community has been really awesome giving back to us for this Artists of the Treasure Coast event.
Okay. So, and then the next thing that's coming up after that, would that be the Easter egg hunt?
Or it's the quarter auction.
It's the quarter auction,
it's the
which
28th
is
of
the
March.
28th.
Yes.
And that's going to be at your location?
It is at the Women's Club, and so is the Easter egg hunt.
And so is the Easter egg hunt. The actual address of the Women's Club, I know you're 21st Street.
29th.
29th Street.
Oh gosh, now I'm like, I had it memorized and then I forgot it.
Just flies out.
I know,
of your
literally.
head. Yeah.
It literally. Like I always just tell everyone 29th. For the most part, people know it. Hold on, I'll tell you what the physical
It's
address.
just a block away from IRSC.
It is. It literally is. You can see the college from the
front door.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. While you're looking for that information, if people are interested in renting the Fort Pierce Women's Club, the location, how did they do that?
So you can just call the number, and Denise, our amazing rental coordinator, will get back to you. Or you can go, we have Fort Pierce Women's Club event venue Facebook page that you can also reach out, and she'll
book through that as well.
Yes.
That's awesome. And of course, the Facebook page is Fort Pierce Women's Club, or you could look up Fort Pierce Women's Club. Is it a .com or .org?
It's a .org.
.org. So you could look that up, and you can probably just Google Fort Pierce Women's Club and get all the information that you need as well of the activities that are coming up and also of the next meeting. So if you were interested in becoming a member of the Women's Club, you'd be joining a group of women who've been around since 1913. Not all of them personally. Do you have any of...
Doretha has actually been a member of the club for 30 years. It's a long time. Yeah. We have a couple members who have been there for a really long time.
And any time that I've come as a guest, I've seen Doretha there.
Yeah,
so not
she's
only
very active. Yes.
And there's also a lot of other, that is 2408 South 29th Street in Fort Pierce. So that's the location. And, as Crystal and I said, it's very convenient to, just about everything. So available for rentals, or you can go there for a meeting, or you can go there if your organization needs to rent it for meetings, it's probably a whole lot cheaper.
We do a lot of nonprofit events too. So if someone has a nonprofit and they need a space to host their event, we are a space for that nonprofit as well.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. So that just makes it easy for everybody. And a lot of times you may not want to host an event at a restaurant or a bar because you don't want to spend the extra money. You want to bring
Right.
in your own food and drink.
Right.
And
And
save
we have a
money.
full, beautiful kitchen. That was one of the first projects that got remodeled because we had a flood. The roof leaked.
Yeah.
So we had to have the kitchen redone. So it's got a full kitchen with a stove, a microwave, sinks, plenty of counter space, and a nice big island. We've had a lot of caterers come in there and say that the space was nice.
And I remember you mentioned post-COVID how, of course, the membership kind of ebbed and flowed, and you were first a member on Zoom. And but also at the same time, even though there weren't meetings, there were people in the parking lot who were giving food away. Because I know
Yes.
Michelle Backus was spearheading that.
Yes.
So not only were there food giveaways at Graceway Village, but there were also food giveaways and supplies that were you could drive through the parking
That's
lot
right.
at the Fort Pierce Women's
Graceway
Club.
Village was the first official women's club volunteer thing that I did. I actually brought the styrofoamed packaged meals to the community that is here in Fort
Yeah,
Pierce.
you delivered.
Yes,
to
we
the,
deliver.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
so basically they're stacked up in these cooler bags, and we're walking behind a truck. Definitely got on our steps that day.
Yeah.
But they were so grateful. The people were just so sweet, and you could tell there was a need for it. So it's what the club does is definitely it's feel good. If you're looking for something to do, and there's no commitment. You don't have to be there 40 hours a week, or you don't have to commit to 20 volunteer things. If you can do one event a month, it makes a difference. Every second, every sharing the posts, everything that anyone does for us helps tremendously to the community.
So the first thing you can do when you're sitting in front of the computer is to follow Fort Pierce Women's Club
Yes.
on Facebook and get more information. And then you can check out their website. You can also find out about the people who are involved on their board and reach out in the different situations with the committee. If you need their help, if you're an organization that needs their help, you can also reach out to current president, I know, is Jennifer Picardi.
Yes.
And you also mentioned the person who coordinates your rentals for you.
Yes, Denise.
And Denise's, there's a tab on your Facebook or on your website?
So we have a whole separate there is a
Okay.
tab on the website for
Okay.
rentals, but we have a whole separate Facebook that's Fort Pierce Women's Club event venue. But if someone can't access Facebook, you can just go to the website and you can just send like a blanketed contact information sheet. We also have a public calendar on there as well that I wanted to mention, because not everyone has Facebook. But if you subscribe to our calendar directly from our website, all of our events that are put into the calendar will automatically sync to your phone.
Oh, and
So-
what kind of events do you have on that?
Everything we do is on the event calendar page. So like the Easter egg hunt, the trunk or treats, all of our events that are open to the public. And I'm not sure if our meetings are on there, but they might be. But definitely all of our events, because like we encourage the public to come, and participate. Plus, when we have an event, it's a great way for you to come to the club and see it in person, because photos don't do it justice. It really is a beautiful place. And we have some really big plans for the back of the club, because we actually own, like, the property goes all the way back to the lake. So we're going to clear that out eventually. I'm on the environmental committee. We're going to do a butterfly garden. So we'll be selling bricks soon, where people can buy a brick in memory of a loved one or just their business, to help raise funds to help with that. And we want to put a beautiful gazebo out there. I believe that was Jen's idea, because we do host like wedding receptions.
Right.
And so we would like to offer a wedding space so that afterwards they can just filter into the club for the reception.
Right. And also, if you have a butterfly garden, that's going to look a lot prettier.
It is.
I mean,
it's going to be beautiful.
Florida there's so many seasons of the year that the flowers are blooming and everything is pretty. We might as well take advantage
That's right.
of it.
That's right.
So after the March-April event, after Easter, what else is coming up on the calendar for the group this spring?
Our last planned event right now is going to be the Easter egg hunt. I know we've got some things in the works. We do host St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce bingo. That is open to the public. So if you like to play bingo and you win prizes, that's at the Women's Club as well. And you can find that information on our Facebook page, our website, and the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce website.
Okay. And so you can also be part of the bingo. And do you have to be a chamber member
No,
to be
you
part
do
of
not.
it? So it's open to the public.
It is open to the public.
Where does the money from that bingo go to?
Part of it goes to the club, and then the other part goes to the chamber.
Yeah. So it's a mutual.
It is a mutual
event. Yeah, that's awesome. And then you had already mentioned that, participation in the Fort Pierce Christmas Parade, and of course your trunk or treat event in October. But even if you don't have dates, what are some of the annual things that you do? You said things are a little bit slower in the summertime for everybody.
So in the summertime, that we do a lot of times in the summer, we will do a back to school drive where we'll collect pencils, book bags, things like that, so that when the summer's over, we can disperse those to kids in need. That's usually our focus in the summertime, is the back to school drive.
Okay. And then you do other charity drives or drives for nonprofit organizations over the course of the year.
Yes, and we partner with a ton. We've done stuff for Madison's Miracles, which is no longer on the Treasure Coast, but she was for a long time. We do the brain cancer of the Treasure Coast, which is run by Stephanie Inkiel West. I don't know if you're familiar with her nonprofit.
I am. Yes.
Okay. And then we partner with Team Miranda Strong. She's actually an active member, Sue D'Onofrio. Her daughter passed away from an unknown allergen. So part of our food we collect for the Treasure Coast Food Bank, we're looking for grain-free or that allergen-free foods because no one thinks of that. And there are families that go there and need food, but they don't have a lot of that.
Right.
So if someone is willing to purchase or has those kinds of items, that would be really awesome. The gluten-free stuff, people aren't thinking that, but there's a lot of need in our community for that.
Actually, I used to play bunco with Sue.
Okay. So
I know her too, yes. Okay. And I know of her, the tragedy and how she's turning that tragedy
into something beautiful. Yeah. Oh, I got goosebumps.
Yeah. So, you have a daughter because you have a grandbaby, and I have a daughter, and I just can't imagine a daughter or son, if something like that happened, being able to turn that sadness and devastation into I would hope that I would be that kind of person like Sue,
yes.
that turned around and said, okay, well, we're going to help all these other.
I want to bring awareness, right? No, she is very passionate about it, and yes, it takes a certain type of personality to take something so tragic and unexpected and your own child and turn it into something beautiful, which she's really doing a great job at. Yeah,
she really has. I'm glad you talked about some of your members, because with 80-something members, you have quite a variety of members. So you have members who are involved in real estate and who are involved in title companies, banking. I know
our treasurer is absolutely amazing, Alicia Gohl.
That's the name I was trying to think
I knew
of.
it.
Yes,
I knew it. With I Think
Financial. Yes.
She is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it is not an easy task to be, an accountant bookkeeper in general. But with a nonprofit, there is a lot of checks and balances because you have to be accountable for every single thing that goes in and out. And she has just taken the reins with that and did such a phenomenal job getting all of our books cleaned up. And yeah, she's definitely an asset to the club on so many levels. And I think sponsors a lot of our events, which is so huge. So we appreciate them as well.
They have, and Alicia was the person who reached out to me when we were establishing the nonprofit for our sister's closet.
Nice.
We set our bank account up there,
They host a lot of nonprofit bank accounts.
And she also gave me information about the different nonprofit things that she's worked with, and you know what, because there's so much that's involved. Like when you have an activity, how do you sell tickets?
Yes.
How do you put the information together? And you know, my expertise in special events has been for nonprofit organizations, but more along the lines of running events with the Sailfish Beer Mile and the Donut Dash and the run for the coach. And so there are particular signups that you use for road races that they just don't work for a nonprofit organization that is more generic in nature. And when you have events, you don't want to be in a situation where so much of your event price is going to the organization that is doing your ticketing.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
We
actually have our own platform. We just utilize Zoho, which works great for us. You know, we can create the event link, so you can click on it and go. I mean, it does have some small fees, but it's nothing like when you buy from the larger companies.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how that all pans out. And you know, as you said, it's no small task being the treasurer of an organization like that, and cleaning the books up. And also, you know, some of the organizations that I belong to, and I know the same thing with the Fort Pierce Women's Club, the officers and the people who are most active might change from year to year. Yes. So you need to have that continuity, and you need to make it easy for people to understand and go through. So if you're somebody with a need to give back to the community and you're not sure where to go or who to do that with, the Fort Pierce Women's Club is really an ideal thing for you. Now, you know, you said you help people from Hobe Sound all the way to Sebastian.
Even into Okeechobee. I've taken supplies out to Okeechobee.
Do you also take members? Do people have to live or work in Fort Pierce in order to be a member?
No. We have members that come up from Stewart. And there are women's clubs in Stewart, but we have members that come from Stewart. We have members that come from Sebastian. It's just about what club you belong to. Because I live in Vero, and there is a club in Vero. I just happened to join that one. And I just think it's because I spent the majority of my youth and my young adult years in the Fort Pierce, Port St. Lucie area. So that's just where I gravitated to that particular club. And we are a highly active club. I mean, we have something happening all the time. And I like that because I feel that if you're going to join something, you're doing it for a reason. You want to be a part of something that's active. And I may not be available just this one time. So we provide a lot of opportunity at the Fort Pierce Women's Club for you to be active in your community.
And, you know, as you said earlier, Crystal, you don't have to be active in all of the different things, but you just have a choice of a lot of different things, a lot of different nonprofits that you're helping, a lot of different needs that you're meeting by just being a part of the Women's Club. And it sounds like the event that's coming up on Monday is just, you know, one of so many different events that you do. But let's go over the details of that again, because that's coming up right around the corner. If you're listening to this show on the radio, it's this weekend. So that means the Monday that's coming right up.
Monday, March 6th. It starts at 5 p.m., the check-in process. It's only $25 a person. That includes your buffet, your food. The bar will be open, and they start serving about 6 o'clock, and I think the auction will end at 8, and then everyone will be able to take their items home at that time.
And that's really a great opportunity for you to get gifts for anybody if you need to think about gifts. Or
very unique items.
Yeah.
We get some really unique items, and some are one of a kind. The painting I have is one of a kind.
And it's art on a number of different canvases too.
Yes,
different types.
It's not
of
just
canvas.
oil paintings.
Yes,
It's art of all kind: photography, jewelry, oil paintings. We even had the Humane Society donated really cute pictures of. They took the paw prints with paint of the dogs and splashed them with a QR code, so you could see the picture of the dog. And those were a hit. It was adorable.
That is so sweet.
It was. So they took the dogs that are adoptable and made art out of their paw prints. Super cute.
And then there was a QR code so
you could see the dog that made that particular paw print art. Yeah, it was adorable.
So your famous canine artist.
Yeah. Shannon Glendening over there is amazing.
Yeah.
She comes up with some really awesome stuff for the Humane Society.
Yeah.
I also volunteer for the Humane Society. We're very active with the Humane Society.
Right.
We all have, I can think of 30 of us that have adopted from the Humane Society, and on any given day, there's someone that's active, whether we're participating in the Blue Jean Ball they have coming up, which some of our members are participating in, or just going out there and scooping cat litter boxes.
And we're a rescue house too. We have 2 from of our own dogs from St. Lucie County Humane Society,
Nice.
and then my son has a dog that's a rescue dog from there, and my daughter as well. So all 4 of our family dogs.
Nice.
I'm such a big proponent in taking care of our own, whether it be canine pups or whether it be people or there's a lot of crossover, as
we
you
literally
and I,
do from the ocean with our environmental all the way. We do little birthday angels. We collect gifts for the homeless children, which is a huge need as well. So I highly recommend if you can help that charity. They're amazing.
And that's the cool thing about if you wanted to belong to an organization like the Women's Club, and there's different organizations in town too other than the Women's Club, and there's different civic groups, but this one has got so much to offer.
We welcome all nonprofits. So
Crystal Barker King has been my guest today, and she is a past board member of the Fort Pierce Women's Club. They're an organization that meets monthly on the first Thursday of the month. Between 5:30 and 6 is when the meetings start, and you can go to the meeting, and you can also join as a member, but you don't have to be a member to go. The event that they have coming up, Artists of the Treasure Coast, is coming up on Monday, March 6th. And you can join them at Chuck Seafood from 5 to 9. And $25 fees. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us today.
Much for having me.
And we'll see you next week with more. Have a great week.
The Sue Ellen Sanders Show, with archives on YouTube.